All right. Good morning, senior home business family. How you guys doing today? It's Brittany and Matt back again, talking about senior placement, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about the things that we do. And today we want to get right into the 10 shocking truths about entrepreneurship. There's a lot of misunderstanding, fallacies, just misnomers, whatever about the industry, about whatever it is you want to do as an entrepreneur, because it is a sexy thing, right? I mean, you're working for yourself. You're taking a risk, but you're working for yourself. Got all the time in the world? Maybe not. Got all the money in the world? Maybe not. It's just back and forth play, but 10 shocking truths about entrepreneurship. But Brittany, before we get into that, if you are out there and you want to know more about the senior placement industry and what we do, you can do a couple different things down below. You can drop down and click and watch a free webinar. Brittany and I do a webinar. We talk about real estate, talk about a lot of different things in that webinar. You can actually drop down and pay for a $29.99 3-day recorded workshop. Obviously, it's something we've already done. The 3 days, you can do that. You can drop down and schedule a consultation with me. You can watch a podcast. Oh my gosh, man. If you don't know about this industry, just drop down right in the comment section. But let's get into it, Brittany, the 10 shocking truths about entrepreneurship. And the first and foremost that comes to mind is you're going to work more hours than a 9-to-5 job. I don't know if people tell you, I think it's funny, Brittany. I see and I hear entrepreneurs, and I don't know if they're new entrepreneurs or whatever, because it's none of the veterans that I follow, but some of the new ones maybe, they go, oh my gosh, I just work 4 hours a day. That's all I work. I don't know about you, but I work a lot more than 4 hours a day. Now, that's dreamland. That would be awesome. I would love to work maybe 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning and then take the rest of the day off. That's not reality. Is it, Brittany?
No, I think the comment is I gave up my 9-to-5 to work 24/7. Like, obviously you're not working 24/7, but that's the joke. You give up your 9-to-5 to work. No, I mean, it all depends on, your industry and what you're doing, but especially in the beginning, it takes a lot. And if you are still having a full-time job too, have a 9-to-5, then you're really working way more than 9-to-5. But yeah, I think being an entrepreneur, and it might look different. I know we talk about like on Tuesday at 12 o'clock, if we want to go get a massage or, go to the grocery store, we might be able to do that. Yeah. We might be responding to emails and texts and planning social media posts till 10 p.m. at night. So it's a different lifestyle. It's very, again, you're working more than 9-to-5, but you also pick and choose. You can in some industries when you do want to work, and there's gaps where you have breaks. But yeah, definitely working more than 9-to-5.
Absolutely. And there's times like I'm on a date with my wife, or like you said, if you're going out and getting a massage or a pedicure, which I don't really do a lot of that stuff, but if you do, that's fine. But you're going to have to be cognizant of your phone. I mean, how are you getting leads? Are they calling you? Are they emailing you? Are they texting you? I mean, there's a way that you're generating leads in your business, whether it be the senior placement industry or whether it be something else, and you're going to have to do that. Now, if you have a full-blown business and you are the owner and you've got 100 employees underneath you, that might be a little different story. But mainly we're talking about an entrepreneur lifestyle. It's more of like a solopreneur, right? I've got a small team, and a lot of my students, they got a small team, or at least some of them do. And then most of them work for themselves, right? And that's what I did for a number of years. It's just me. And so you're going to work a lot harder and more hours, oftentimes than a 9-to-5. And because you're working so much and you got a lot of sweat equity in it, I'm going to get into the second one, because this will hit you right between the eyes. And people cannot really grasp this right here. They can't handle this. They can't handle the loss of something. So you have to understand failure is part of the process. You have to understand failure is your ability to learn something new. It's not failure that you're not qualified, you're not good enough. Dude, you're trying something new. Cut yourself some slack and understand that when I fail at something, now I have the opportunity to learn from that experience, not go back and start beating myself up and going, oh my gosh, man, I stink. I'm the worst there ever is. If I only knew this, if, start going back in your past in your mind. If I only went to college, if I'd only, taken that course, if I'd only made this decision in my life, whatever it is, don't do that to yourself. Be in the here and now. You've made the step. The challenge to yourself is to be a success in what you're doing. In order to be a success, there's going to be a lot of failures, a lot of missteps, along the way. I don't know about you, Brittany, but there was a lot of missteps in my life along the way. There's a lot of failures, and it really, you got to not go easy on yourself, but have some grace in a sense that, hey, we're human. We mess up, right?
Yeah, and it's our first time at a lot of us. It's our first time at being entrepreneurs. So there's not a book that says this is how you be the perfect entrepreneur or the perfect senior placement agency. There's no book. I mean, failing is a way to learn. It's hard to deal with. I think anybody is going to take it to some degree really hard. I think entrepreneurs are super hard on themselves as individuals in general. I know I am. I'm really hard on myself. So, but failure is part of it. If you don't fail, I know that I hear people say I have a fear to fail. That's why they don't do it. There's a fear to fail, but you have to fail to learn. You have to do something to be able to learn. And a lot of times you don't fail, but you're going to fail. It's in some aspects, and sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, but you learn and you won't do it again. And you'll learn how to pivot and make changes if you do fail. But I hear that a lot. I'm scared to fail. That's why I don't start.
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't start. It's paralysis by analysis, right? They're analyzing the situation. And ultimately, to your point, they are afraid they're going to fail. And I think sometimes people are just perfectionists, which I can be a perfectionist at times, but don't look at perfection, look at progress. It's how you progress. Are you getting better at what you're doing? And I guarantee you, everybody out there, this is you. I don't care who you are. This is you. If you do something every single day, whether it be for an hour a day, 8 hours a day, more the merrier, but let's just put an hour a day, and you do that every day, I guarantee you, you're going to be better than you were when you first started. So when you go 2 months, an hour a day, every day, 6 months, you're going to be better. So whether it be social media, whether it be, doing something like this, if you want to do it, or, a certain strategy in your business, whatever it may be, consistency is a big part of it. And it's, I don't know. Man. So what number are we on?
Three, I think.
Have I talked about we won't get paid right away? Did I talk about that?
No.
Because that is hard, man. I always feel like I talked about that one. Because as an entrepreneur, you're like, I don't get paid today.
Yeah.
I don't get paid on the 15th and the 30th. I don't get paid twice a month. I don't get paid every week. And I don't get paid right away for my efforts. That stinks, man. Entrepreneurship, I'm taking all the risk. I should get paid right now. It's not true, Brittany, is it?
Not at all. The furthest
How does the person handle not getting paid right away? What are some of the things they can do to prepare for that? Because I think that is part of it. People don't prepare for the inevitable that you don't get paid right away, which, the obvious answer is you're going to have some resources set aside, or maybe this is a part-time gig when you're first starting because you're a solopreneur or whatever. But the reality is going to hit you right smack in the face. You don't get paid right away. And you might put in 40 hours in a given week because you work the weekend, you work your tail off, and you work week after week after week, and you look at your bank account and go, nothing changed. What the heck? I don't know, Brittany. Give me some insight into this.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, having resources set aside, like planning for the future, knowing that you're not going to get paid right away. I think another thing too, like we talk about, if you can keep a full-time job and start being a solopreneur for sure, and it doesn't compete with the job you're currently in, there's no conflict of interest, go for it. Keep your full-time job if you can. Because I think it takes more of the stress away of I have to get a check, and then you put pressure on yourself. Now I'm failing. It's like a vicious cycle that you won't get out of. Not only that, but also you can do side gigs. The cool thing about now, in my opinion, the world has changed so much in the last 5 years on I'm just giving examples, DoorDash, Instacart, there's so many ways to do side gigs that are just Fiverr, Upwork, just some examples that, I have friends and family that I know that work 5 gigs. They work 5 gigs to make it work because there's so many opportunities. So look beyond the whole W-2, 9 to 5. If you're being a solopreneur, look at other ways that you can basically make it until you're making money in your business. So use those side gigs as leverage to stay afloat and put all your heart and soul into your business when you start it.
Absolutely. Let's get to number 4, because number 4 is, whether you know it or not, your personal life will be affected. Woo! Love that. Yeah. Nobody likes that, man. It's dude, my personal life is going to be affected. You mean when I'm out on a date with my spouse, when I'm having some personal time, I'm on vacation, I'm just getting some R&R, I'm hanging out with family or friends, and the phone goes off, the text, what? My personal life's gonna be affected? No, I'm telling you right now, I'm establishing some boundaries, which I wouldn't encourage you guys to do. And it's not to some extent, right? I don't ever talk to anybody 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I probably don't even hear the phone ring. I don't necessarily turn the phone off. I'm such a sound sleeper, Brittany, that if the phone does go off at 2 or 3 in the morning, dude, my body ain't doing nothing. It'll probably just, reverting to the left side of my body and I start snoring even heavier. I don't know. But I probably won't get that call. But it would be something I would deal with as soon as I got up in the morning after my daily routines and all that. But how is your personal life, and not to get too personal, Brittany, I know, but just in broad scope of it, how has your personal life been affected being an entrepreneur?
I think to your point, just like, I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't have that aspect of it, but even just with my husband or just friends and things, like I'm on 24, whatever, as long as I'm awake. My phone is something in our business, at least our phone is our lifeline, whether it be computer, phone, whatever. So I'm not ever fully disconnected. I think that's probably the biggest part of my personal life. Not that I look at it in a negative way, because this is and definitely benefited my personal life significantly. Yeah. So it's like a catch-22. But how it's affected it, I would just say I'm just never disconnected. I think my brain is probably, even when we talk, or anybody talks, you can see our brains going like 24/7. And, without having that disconnect from the business, there is some, I'm cooking dinner, talking on the phone. I'm, things like that. Or like, I think I didn't wind down until 11 o'clock, which is so not like me last night, but it was just so much going on. So I think that's the main thing for me, at least. It's just never the disconnect fully. I guess I would say I'm not, and I'm aware of this, I'm not fully present probably ever. Like there's not fully present without other things going on. So that's been my experience. But again, it has affected me so much positively that this is a very little, if you want to call it a negative, that's the only negative I can come up with.
Well, I mean, to your point, it's like being a senior placement agent and doing this business. I'm sure you're out of town quite a bit. I'm out of town. We're doing certain things, but this business has provided a lifestyle for us to be able to do those certain things. And I just don't mind. I know you don't either. Taking the call, doing the text, email, that kind of thing to help somebody, because, I don't want to. And I get people why they want to do this. And I'm not faulting you guys. It's just not the way I'm wired. It's not the way Brittany's wired. But we want to be accessible to people. Now, I'm telling you, I could be anywhere. And my wife understands this and she believes in this. So I'm not trying to cause any conflict in marriages out there and relationships, because you might be hooked up with a spouse that doesn't get it. And I totally understand. You might have to dance around the tulips and all this stuff to, be careful and be mindful of their opinions. And like, oh, you're always working. My wife and I have no work-life balance. We just don't believe in it. That's just own personal opinion. I'm not trying to project that on someone else, but it's just, we work and it provides a lifestyle for us. Now, does that mean I don't ever play, don't ever go out of town, don't ever do certain things? No, we always do those things. But if work kind of creeps in, we still do it. We have fun with it. I mean, to me, it's just conversation with people. It's helping people. And so your personal life will be affected in some way as an entrepreneur. Number 5, mindset matters more than skills. Woo! Matt, what are you talking about, man? Isn't the skill set, isn't that the biggest thing? That's part of it. In business, I don't care if it's senior placement industry or anything else, it's mindset, skill set, tool set. Those are the 3 key components to be successful in just about anything. You got to have a mindset. I mean, you can follow the greatest of the great of athletes. They all talk about mindset. You can follow the biggest personalities that are out there, the business, social media personas that are out there. They're all talk mindset. I'm sure they got skill set, but it's developed over time. A number of them just flat out stunk at the beginning. And we all do, right? I mean, if we're honest, I don't think I was that good, but I believed I was that good. I kind of put it all out on social media. You remember my story, Brittany? I put it all on social media like, man, I'm the best thing around. I wouldn't say that, but I kind of act like that a little bit. But somewhere deep down inside, if I was honest with myself during that time, I'd be like, my skill set is not as developed as someone else that's been doing this for a number of years. But it got better because, going back to the previous point we talked about earlier, if you do something consistently, can I say that word consistency? Consistently, God dang, what is that word? Need some more coffee. Consistently every day, you're going to get better, right? Mindset over skills. Is that true?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying in our industry anybody can do it. That's not what I'm trying to say by this, but anybody that has a heart and a good mindset that you're able to really, help others, the skills will come as you go. If you have a good mindset, that is really important. So yeah, I think it trumps skills, and the skills come. It's not like the skills don't come. Mm-hmm. The skills do come, and they build over time. I always make this joke. If you see my first referral that I sent or my first email, it's embarrassing at this point. But hey, we were doing it and we figured it out. And just having like that, I think people feed off that too. In our industry, if you're positive and have confidence, then people believe in you, and it just kind of goes from there. So yeah, I think it's really important. No one knows what they're doing on their first day of a job. So just picture it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Hey, I like number 6 coming up. You ready for number 6?
Yeah.
And this is going to energize the whole person, everybody out there. It's going to energize you. It's going to get you off the seat, ready to be an entrepreneur, because you're going to do things that you don't like. Who wants to do that? Everybody wants to do things they don't like to do, right? Heck no, right? As an entrepreneur, you're going to have to do things you don't like. I told Brittany off the camera, I mean, now I got a lawyer, I got a CPA, I got different things in my life. But at the beginning, it was just me. And it was my wife doing some certain things too. But it was my taxes. I was doing on TurboTax for a couple of years. I have to admit. Now I don't. I got a CPA and I do it. It's a whole different route now. I can't do that anymore. And I choose not to do it either. But I had to do it myself. And then doing the finances, things like that, I was doing it. Not that I'm really bad at it, but I don't think I'm that great at it either. There's plenty of people that are a lot better than me in doing that. And then I just didn't like to do it. It was, so it's one of those things that's kind of put off because, I didn't like doing it. It's procrastination really crept in easily for that because it was something I didn't like to do. We never procrastinate on things we like to do. I mean, think about as a kid for Christmas, you don't like getting up early ever, except for Christmas Day. And then it's like 5, 6 in the morning, you pop up, oh, I got presents. Woohoo! You get up, you're energized because you're getting something you're going to like. So, but anything we don't like to do, people we don't like being around, whatever, that is a procrastination point. So you'll have to do things you don't like. Brittany, in this business, and it's going to be different for everybody. But what are a couple of things that kind of come to your mind that what we have to do in this business that maybe a person might not like doing?
I'll be the oddball probably, even though I'm an entrepreneur. I don't love, this is going to sound weird, like the business part of it. Now don't take this the wrong way. I really love the helping people. Like I love being an entrepreneur. I think if I were to pick one thing that I don't necessarily like about it is maybe like the negotiation. I'm trying to put the words to it, like more so like me having to worry about like the money part of it, like not even worry about the money, but like go in and say, okay, I want 80%, I want this, like that part of it is not as thrilling to me as like helping families and getting them placed. So for me, the root of it, I really enjoy the family part of it. I don't necessarily enjoy the getting the contracts, I could be oddball on
that's good. No, that's good. I like that. Hey, it's all to each his own, and that's your personality type and what you enjoy. But you still endure through the things you don't like to do, because in order to accomplish the very things you want with the family, in this business, you need to accomplish the contracts and everything else. Because if you don't have that in place, then no matter what you're doing on the front end, it matters because you're helping somebody, but you essentially have lost your entrepreneurship or your job, and you become a volunteer because you're not going to get paid.
Yeah, that's a huge part of our business. I would say in the beginning, because again, I was great. I mean, now I've definitely grown to like it, and I'm more confident. But in the beginning, that was definitely my not favorite part. But now I have a lot more confidence, and I've grown, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
All right, let's get to number 7.
Taxes would be like for sure my number one. Taxes.
Oh, I hate that piece, man. And not honest. I mean, my CPA knows, and they got all my records, and they got my accounts, and they pay certain things that just standing things they pay. But I told them at the beginning when I went with them a number of years ago, I say, look, the first year I thought was okay for some reason, just the way I was able to go through TurboTax and answer some questions. The second year, I don't know, man. There were some questions. I can't recall exactly what the questions were, but I answered them to the best of my ability. I'm honest. I'm transparent. I probably paid more than I had to pay because I didn't take hardly any write-offs. I wasn't trying to force anything. I was really kind of a little bit, and this kind of goes against who I am, but I was a little bit not scared, but just being extra careful not to rock the boat and make sure that, I don't have any IRS and the state beating down my door. So I just kind of, I don't need that write-off. I'll pay that. And I don't keep a lot of receipts. Now through my CPA is a little bit different. But let's get to number 7 because this is so vital here because everybody's got a story. Everybody's got something that they want to tell the world. Man, let me tell you where I grew up at. Let me tell you what I used to do. And they all got a story, and they got a story about getting into the business. And it's great. It's fine. It's wonderful. I'm a firm believer you need to attach purpose to what you do. So your story is relevant to you, but let me give you some hardcore truth about being an entrepreneur. No one cares until you succeed. Just they don't, man. No one cares about me. And it's a hard truth, a hard pill to swallow that no one cares until you succeed. And sometimes even when you succeed, you're not going to have people that care about you. Like I noticed, Brittany, in my own life, when I was starting to be an entrepreneur, I started putting some stuff out. I had a lot of cheerleaders. I had a lot of people that were like, oh, go, Matt. That'd be awesome. You'd be perfect at that. Oh, that'd be awesome. And then I started to experience a little bit of success. You kind of get just a little bit. You're feeling good about yourself. And then I started getting people that were getting a little more distant from me. Were not as excited about it because I don't know if they got envious or they just resented the fact that I was experiencing some success, and it deep down inside they really want that too, but haven't taken the leap of faith to initiate anything. I don't know. And then eventually you'll get to a place you're gonna have some haters. You're gonna have people that don't like you. And I didn't like that because most of my life I wasn't necessarily a people-pleasing kind of individual, but I did enjoy people liking me. I don't like, I didn't go around trying to be super confrontational, trying to stir up stuff. I always kind of with type individual that insinuate the positive, kind of build people up. And, if they didn't like what I was doing, whatever, I'd be kind of like, okay, maybe there's something, I'd look inward and kind of go, okay, maybe there's something that I need to correct. And that's maybe true to a certain degree. But bottom line, guys, you're going to have some haters. And then when you get to the place of success, whatever that is, I'm not trying to build it up, has to be a certain point, whatever success is to you. And over time, and I think time has a lot of success, right? Because a lot of businesses go out of business the first year, definitely the third year. You and I have been in business for quite a number of years. And so that's a level of success, and people see that. And then they start to care about what you're saying. I don't know. What do you think about that, Brittany? Talk to me.
I agree. No, I think I always say this quote, work so hard until your haters ask if you're hiring.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. No one cares until you succeed. There's doubts for probably many reasons. I had my own family doubt me. Friends doubt me. It's very common. Colleagues doubt me. My old boss in senior living doubted me.
Do you know how they doubt you? Can I tell you how?
Yeah.
By not going to you for your service or your product. That's the number one way people doubt you. Is not that, they might, in their mind doubt you. They might talk behind your back when you're not around or whatever, or they might just keep it to themselves. But the number one way that if somebody is for you is they buy your product, utilize your service. If they don't, they just doubt you and they don't trust you, or they don't want you to succeed, whatever it is. But they're not in your camp, man. I'm telling you, I know people that go to their friends that have businesses, and they always ask for a discount. They always ask for a lower amount. He's going to give me, the good value. I like that. I like that. Dude, I don't know if that's really healthy. I was a youth director for a number of years, right? So up until, early 30s. And I can't tell you how many times that I was part of a large staff, and there's a number of directors and pastors and all that. I can't tell you how many times I heard in the church arena where somebody would go, man, let's get that Holy Ghost discount. And they were looking, what they meant by that was, let's look inward, somebody within our congregation that would just give us that service or that product at cost. How bad is that? I didn't think about it until later on in life, but it's like, so in essence, what we're going to do is have you do all the work, and just we're reaping the benefit of it, and you're not getting any reward. I think if you really like your friends and you appreciate them, those are the people that you would use the services and products from. I think, am I wrong about that?
No, true statement. You should be willing to pay full price without a doubt. Like that should be a no-brainer. You support them.
Okay, think of it in terms of this. When you go out to eat, right? My wife will tell you, it doesn't happen all the time. Now, I give a tip all the time. And then there's been a few times, let's say a handful of times, that we went out to eat and we just doubled the bill. I don't care if the dinner was $100, $200, $300. We just doubled it because the service was impeccable, because the person was on point. The person genuinely cared about us. I mean, at least it's seen. They engaged in conversation, but not too much. It's not like they try to sit down and have dinner with us, but they engaged in conversation and asked us certain things. Always had things that we needed. Very attentive. So we will do that on occasion. And so if we do that for a complete stranger, for a one-time service they're offering, how much more should we do that with our friends and family or people that we trust? Because if we don't, I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but it's just, no one really cares until you're successful anyway, right? So, all right, let's get into number 8, Brittany. Consistency is more important than motivation. Everybody likes motivation. I like motivation, the hoopla, let's get going. Yeah, pumped up, man, ready to go. But it goes back to that, doing something 1 hour every day, 2 hours every day, and that will trump motivation any day of the week, twice on Sunday. It just does. I like motivation. I'm a big proponent of motivation. I'm a big proponent of visualization. A lot of things I do in my personal life at the beginning of the day to get my day set. I believe the first hour of your day, if you're successful in that, you'll be successful the rest of your day. It's just how you set it up, right? And so, but if all you're doing is relying on motivation and you're not being consistent and doing the things that you need to do, putting in the work, the action to get things going, you're not going to be that successful. What do you think about that?
Agreed. Yeah, you're not motivated every day. Nobody is. There's days that we're not motivated. So consistency is going to trump motivation every day. So if you can stay consistent on the days that you're not motivated and you don't get motivation, that's going to work. If we only worked at what we wanted when we were motivated, we wouldn't be successful.
I love that you said that, Brittany, because there are days that we wake up on the right side of the bed and we're motivated. There's days we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We're not as motivated. Maybe we don't feel well. We have a cough. We have a slight temperature. We're exhausted or whatever. And all these different things, you guys, will happen to you as an entrepreneur. But if you're not consistent in those moments and times, it's going to be difficult because, and not saying you can't get any rest, go see the doctor, take medication. I mean, you got to take care of yourself ultimately. But there's going to be days you just don't feel like doing something, whatever the reason is. It might not be illness. It might just be, you're sad about something. I mean, whatever it may be, and that emotion is just bringing you down. And you've got to somehow, as an entrepreneur, control your emotions enough to have the self-talk, right? Your self-talk within you that you're going to motivate yourself to be consistent. And what happens is, let me give you some good news. When you're consistently doing something that you like to do in business, you're progressing, you're moving on, man, you're going to start having a lot more confidence because you are getting more competent and you are developing your skills. And then it's going to be that much harder for somebody to tell you you're not good at what you do because you are good at what you do. It doesn't mean you become braggadocious and all that stuff. But you get the point, this repetition, and you've got to have the consistency. So, all right, Brittany, hit on this one. This is a tough one. You ready for 9 and 10? 9 is a downer, 10 is an upper. But let's get to the 9. You ready for the 9? Oh my God, you're going to outgrow some people. Oh, you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose some family. I'm not advocating you lose people and you just distance yourself and all that. But truth be told, there's going to be times you're going to have to distance yourself from the very people that love you or perceive to love you or whatever it may be. And they're just not in your camp. They're just not in your circle. And here's what I struggle with, Brittany. Okay, I'm a lot older than you, right? I'm 56, you're 28. I thought differently as a 28-year-old. Probably for the last 10 years, I've noticed my circle get smaller and smaller. And at first, it really bothered me. It's like, dude, I got no friends. My God, I got no close people that I actually can entrust. I mean, I got a lot of acquaintances. I got a lot of people that I've experienced a lot of things with, and a lot of people I do love and appreciate, and I do help in their business, and, either by paying for something or, being a voice or being an ear or whatever. But it's just like my circle gets smaller and smaller. But it's that actually was to my advantage, and I thought it was a disadvantage, is because I started to outgrow some certain people. And you cannot have your circle. Let me kind of bring it home. Let's say you are a W-2 employee like me 10 years ago, making $75,000 a year. And you want to be an entrepreneur, and you got big dreams, and you see yourself within 12 to 24 months doubling your income, going from 75 to 150. That's what you see. However, your circle at work, and maybe your friends that are all W-2 employees are making $75,000 a year, that's their ceiling at the moment, and you're hanging around them. Do you think you're going to be able to bust through that ceiling always hanging around them? Probably not, because you're going to air your dreams, everything that you want. Oh my gosh, man, it's going to be amazing. I'm starting this side hustle. I'm starting this business, and I'm going to go to $150,000 a year, which is great income, you guys, and you're going to double your income from where you are. And the only $75,000 people you're hanging around going, yeah, right, yeah, let me know when you get there. Yeah, I like to see that happen. I don't know, Brittany, you got any experience about outgrowing people? And if so, how does that feel?
Yeah, I think one thing too, like you want to be in a room, surround yourself with like 10 people that are doing better than you. I always hear those quotes.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is huge. Like be in a room with people that you want to be. So to that point, you're going to outgrow some of those people. And it's not that they're any not as good as you or that you're better than them. It's just that the habits are different. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're not going to be drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the club at 25 years old and expect to have a successful business. So just surround yourself with people with similar interests. So you naturally outgrow people. Yeah, we definitely have. Am I echoing on your end?
No, you're good. You're good.
I hear myself. So.
Oh no, you are. It just started right now, actually.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Anyway,
that's okay.
We're entrepreneurs, so we have outgrown people. Naturally, though, in a way that we still have love for them, it's just not our daily. It's not something that we hang out with every weekend, or they're still friends, family, those kind of things. We just have a different relationship with them now.
Yep. And here's what I do, because I honestly struggled with the fact of outgrowing people and never associating with certain people. I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about maybe acquaintances that you were tight with, and now you're growing in your business and you kind of distance yourself. And I get that, and that's happened in my life too. But here's one thing I teach, or at least I guess I'm teaching right now, but I really feel differently than some people on social media when they talk about, you're going to outgrow people, so you just got to get new friends, and you got a totally different group you're operating in. I like that, but I also like the giving back aspect, meaning I always see somebody at that $75,000 level that within them, they want to go to another level. Not saying that's bad, you guys, but they want to go to another level, and they just don't know how. Because that was me for a number of years. If somebody would have reached back to me early on, like in 2010, I'd probably be a lot better off than I am today. And I'm not hurting, but I mean a lot better off because they reached. But no one, and I don't resent that, but I mean, no one really did that I'm aware of. I mean, I got some coaching along the way in certain other areas, but nobody really kind of like, I'm going to invest in this guy. I believe in him. I see the talents. And so I try to do that with people that I know. And now you can't do it with everybody, but you kind of more selective. So, okay, that's the downer because you're going to outgrow people. The last one is an upper, Brittany. So I don't know about downers and uppers. That's probably not an appropriate thing to be talking about on this show. But anyway, it's number 10 is you control your destiny. I love this one. My God. So let's say you start out as an entrepreneur, and you do like me. Now, I don't encourage you to do like me, but I used to work for a large community, and it'd been a conflict of interest if I didn't just do this by myself, right? We always encourage, keep what you got and build something on the side and get it to a certain level. And that's just a safer approach. It just is. I couldn't do it that way. But I did literally control my own destiny. And by doing 3 move-ins the first month, which is not huge, but I thought I was pretty excited because my only goal was to make $5,000 a month. And then when I grossed 12 grand the first month, I was kind of like, all right, I'm making more money. I like this. And it just motivated me. But you control your own destiny and you can keep going up. The math is always the path in that. So it's just, know the math. And I always encourage people to work backwards, right? Start with the outcome and go right to left. People get stuck like I did for years in the how, and the how is over here. And you need to start focusing on the outcome. How are you, what I mean by that is you're focusing over here, what your life's going to look like. Now, formula, you look at how much money you want to make, whatever that is. And then what does your life look like? And then when you start getting all that together, then you start getting the emotion behind it. You start feeling like, what do you feel like living in that mansion? Or what do you feel like when you're making $150,000 a year, like our previous example? How are you feeling at that moment? And then that's going to energize you over here to do the very things. Because if not, if you have no dream or nothing you're working toward because this is who you are, this is where you want to be, you're going to get stuck into how and get frustrated, I think. And you're not going to be willing to put in the long hours because there's going to be days and weeks before real, Brittany. I know it was for me. There's times I was like, my God, I'm doing all this work and I don't feel like I'm getting anything in return. I mean, it's minimal, right? I mean, and if you don't have the right mindset and you're not, working consistently, you can get frustrated very easily. You think?
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's a long game, and especially our industry, it's a long game, and it can get you down. But the part about controlling your own destiny, you're in control of your life. You're not building somebody else's dream, you're building yours. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's huge.
Absolutely. I mean, it just, you see your income go up, hopefully. I know sometimes the risk, it could go down. I understand that. Fortunately, that hasn't happened to me. I'm not saying it won't ever happen to me, but it's just, that's the risk you take. And I find it exhilarating. I find every day is a new day to do something new. I mean, we talk about, and not just us, you hear this all over the place with coaches, business coaches that are out there, entrepreneurs. You're one contact away, which is absolutely true. You're one, you're one strategy away. You're one step away. You're one something away from reaching your destiny. And I'm not saying you can't get there as a W-2 employee. I'm saying that part there is a lot more difficult because it may not be you getting there. You might just be helping someone else get there. And not saying that's a bad thing, because I mean, there's plenty of successful people as as W-2 employees. But that is the thing about being an entrepreneur, is every step I take in that direction, and I do get that one contact, or I do get that one strategy. Like, Brittany, we got something coming up in a couple of weeks. Oh my God, woo! It's about to be off the chart. Love it. And it's going to revolutionize this whole industry, guys. And so I don't know how many people have actually stayed on this video 38 minutes, but if you hear that part, it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be loud. It's going to be proud. It's going to be revolutionary. We're looking forward to it. So, Brittany, thank you so much for being with us, which we always are on Wednesday. I love doing these shows with you, and I love talking to people out there. And if you guys didn't notice, we're starting to do a little bit of a shift in entrepreneurship. And, we talk about senior placement. We'll throw that in there. If you got any questions, we're always here to help you out in that regard. But we just want to help a lot of people, start their own business. And it may not be senior placement. It might be something else. So if there's anything we can do to help, Brittany and I, we run, successful businesses. We know how to do this thing. And sometimes it's just the fact you just don't know, right? That was me years ago. I just didn't know. I got stuck in the how. So we can teach you how. So anyway, until next time, God bless.